A single knock shattered their peaceful evening, and Jack Miller would soon discover that danger didn't come announced. It barged in. Jack Miller wasn't the kind of man to expect trouble in his quiet Willow Creek neighborhood. That evening, as golden sunlight spilled across the oak-lined streets, he and his wife Sarah sat on their porch, savoring the rare calm. The suburban streets had always felt safe, the kind where doors were left unlocked and neighbors waved as they passed. Then came the knock. Not a polite tap, but a sharp, commanding rattle that made Sarah flinch. Jack's brow furrowed as he rose, cautious, glancing through the frosted glass. Two figures stood there, men in dark uniforms bearing bold patches resembling the HOA insignia. "Evening, sir," said the taller one, voice clipped, authoritative. "We're with the HA enforcement team. Routine inspection. We need access to the property." Jack hesitated. HOA agents didn't make house calls at this hour, certainly not with such urgency. "It's nearly 7. Can't this wait until morning?" he asked carefully. "Regulations don't wait, sir," the man replied, hand near where a badge should have been. The second, stockier man scanned the hallway behind Jack with unnerving alertness. Sarah stepped closer, calm but tense, offering coffee. The taller man's lips curled into a mix of smirk and grimace. "We won't be long, ma'am." Jack's instinct screamed danger. Before he could act, the men had stepped inside. Their boots hit the hardwood like predators crossing into their territory. The atmosphere shifted instantly. A subtle weight pressed on Jack's chest. Sarah lingered near the kitchen doorway, her smile faint and uneasy. The taller man, Officer Ryan, moved with confidence that didn't fit an inspector, his eyes scanning family photos as if evaluating possessions. The stockier man drifted toward the bedrooms. Jack's voice stayed steady despite his quickening pulse. "What exactly are you here for?" Ryan glanced at his companion, nodded subtly, and said, "Noise complaints and exterior violations. Routine check." Sarah questioned. "We keep the yard neat." "Are you sure?" Ryan stepped closer. "It's faster if you stay calm." Jack's hand tightened against the doorframe. Ryan's grip on his arm became firm as he growled, "Stay put!" His polite facade was gone, replaced by cold calculation. Sarah's muffled cries echoed from the kitchen. Jack forced stillness, knowing any wrong move could escalate. "Why is your partner in our bedroom?" he asked, tone calm but firm. Ryan's eyes hardened. "You ask a lot of questions for someone supposed to cooperate. Last warning, stay out of our way." A sudden crash shattered the fragile balance. Glass broke and Sarah cried out again. Jack's adrenaline surged. He feigned calm to buy a split second. "Let me check on my wife. She might be hurt." Ryan hesitated slightly. That was all Jack needed. With a twist, he yanked free, slammed his shoulder into Ryan's chest, sending him staggering back into the entryway table, a vase crashing to the floor. Jack sprinted toward the hallway. Socks sliding slightly on the polished wood, he glimpsed Sarah on the kitchen floor, conscious, hand pressed to her temple, a small cut trickling blood. The stockier man rummaged through a drawer. Jack's eyes locked on the basement door a few feet away. He yanked it open, descended the stairs, twisting the lock behind him. Darkness enveloped him, but he knew exactly where he was going, the gun safe bolted to the concrete floor. He punched in the code. Muffled voices rang from above. A thud shook the basement door. Jack's fingers trembled slightly as the safe clicked open. Inside lay the Barrett M82, a .50 caliber rifle, loaded and ready. Another crash shook the basement door, dust raining down. He gripped the rifle, aware of the confined space but focused. Jack's army training kicked in. Fear was a luxury he couldn't afford. Upstairs, Ryan barked orders. The stockier man mumbled. Their confidence faltered. The pounding stopped. Silence was thick. Metal scraped against wood. The claw end of a crowbar pried at the door. Jack adjusted his stance, the rifle tracking every movement. The basement door groaned as the first kick splintered the wood. Light spilled down the stairs, illuminating Jack crouched like a coiled spring. Barrett raised. Ryan froze mid-step. Smirk vanished, doubt flickering across his face. The stockier man hesitated on the threshold, pale and rigid. Jack's voice, low and steady, echoed. Not another step. A tense standoff had begun. Predators reversed, fear now in the intruder's eyes. Ryan's jaw tightened, calculating. Jack's muscles tensed, every nerve honed. Upstairs, Sarah's faint, uneven breaths anchored him. He couldn't afford hesitation. A final metallic scrape, a shift, and Jack's finger hovered on the trigger, ready for the move that would change everything. One wrong move could cost everything, and Jack Miller knew the balance of power rested in his hands. The pounding on the basement door echoed through the wooden beams, dust drifting down in dim light. Jack gripped the Barrett M82 tightly, every muscle coiled, every sense alert. Ryan and his partner above weren't just bold, they were desperate, and Jack knew it. The crowbar scraped violently at the lock, splintering wood as he adjusted his stance, barrel trained precisely on the intruders. Light flooded the stairwell as Jack rose slightly, commanding authority, his presence immovable. Ryan froze mid-step, smirk replaced by uncertainty, while the stockier man staggered back, hands instinctively rising. Jack's voice cut through the tension. "Step back, slowly. Both of you." Silence dominated the house. Every faint sound amplified. The hum of the refrigerator, the uneven breaths of Sarah upstairs, the scrape of boots. Panic replaced confidence. Ryan tried to negotiate. "We don't have to do this. Let's talk." Jack's finger tightened near the trigger, unwavering. "You put your hands on my wife." "That ends the conversation." Fear now dictated the intruder's actions. The stockier man stumbled, heel catching on the rug, hands raised, pale-faced. Jack descended a step, barrel following their every motion, ensuring no threat reached him or Sarah. Dust from the broken banister floated in the air, catching light. Upstairs, faint breaths reminded him Sarah was safe but shaken, anchoring his resolve. The tension broke as they reached the doorway. Jack repeated firmly, "Out, and don't reach for anything." Ryan and his partner crossed the threshold carefully, the screen door squealing behind them. Jack lowered the Barrett slightly but stayed vigilant, watching shadows retreat. Sarah emerged from the kitchen, blanket draped, face pale but relieved. Jack steadied her, whispering, "They're gone. You're safe." Sirens grew louder, red and blue lights flickering as police arrived. Jack called out, explaining the intruders had assaulted his wife and forced entry. Officers scanned the property, approaching cautiously, hands near sidearms. The massive rifle in view assured them of control before Jack set it down inside. An officer nodded. "Your description helped us locate their vehicle 2 streets away. They're in custody." Jack exhaled slowly, tension draining. "Were they alone?" he asked. "Yes, a pair of career criminals posing as HOA inspectors," the officer replied. "Safe? Maybe lucky, but the experience had changed everything." Inside, Sarah sat on the couch, paramedic checking her over. Eyes meeting Jack's, she conveyed relief and gratitude. Jack sat on the front steps, night air cooling his skin, watching officers secure the scene. The street was quiet, but heavy with aftermath and the realization of how close they'd come to losing everything. Jack's gaze lingered where the intruders had been led away. The Barrett, back in its case, represented not just defense, but courage, control, and protection. Jack and Sarah stayed on the porch, holding each other, aware that danger had passed, but vigilance would remain. Life wouldn't return to normal immediately, but they had survived together, and Jack knew he'd always be ready. The cool night air carried the faint scent of dust and grass, reflecting the calm after chaos, a reminder of what they had endured and the strength they had found in each other.